It has finally been revealed. Necromancy will be RuneScape's 4th official combat skill, and I can safely say that this is the evolution of combat 2.0, but actually done right. And I got a chance to play it early, and in this video I'm going to give you my thoughts, opinions and feedback about it, so let's talk about it. Yo, what's going on guys? My name is Chivalric and today we're going to be talking about Necromancy and my honest thoughts and opinions about it as someone who has played it at Jagex HQ. I was fortunate enough to be invited with 8 other content creators to test Necromancy early and give feedback to the team, who are very receptive to it, by the way, to the point that if they probably could have, they would have changed things on the spot for us because we gave them some good feedback that they were very happy with, which I'll be talking about in this video as well. So it's going to be a little bit of a longer one, so definitely sit back. And a huge shout out to Modazana, Mod Doom and Mod Huli for organizing this trip, and the ladies behind the reception desk because they also helped. I made sure to thank them with stroopwafels. But if you do have any questions about Necromancy, make sure to leave them in the comment section down below, because I'm going to do a follow-up video answering your guys' questions, of course the ones that I can answer. So don't just go ask me stupid things like, oh, what's going to be happening after release. Obviously, I cannot tell you. I don't know everything. I know some things, but yeah, there's still some things that I cannot talk about. But make sure to subscribe. There's going to be a lot of Necromancy content on this channel. I literally have 4 videos planned, including a panel with the developers where I talk about some completion escape stuff. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely subscribe. Leave a like on this video if you do enjoy it, because that generally helps me out and it helps me push out this video over the other big creators. Let's actually fight them. No, honestly, an honor to meet all of them. But yeah, let's just get into what you guys are here for. Necromancy. I'm actually going to be reading you guys what I got sent on a fact sheet, because I think this summarizes Necromancy way better than I could. It's almost like professionals wrote this, but hey-oh. Master the new skill on a powerful journey across Gielinor and its underworld, the city of yes, it is actually named the city of because the people who are there, because it's a city in the underworld, forgot its name. So they kind of like, so this is the city of which you can see as a stupid joke, which I think is good, and I laughed, and I think that's quite funny. But you could also think like, oh yeah, that's so uncreative, but I don't know, I kind of like it. Anyway, harness the dark art of necromancy to free the undead and together defeat the first necromancer who has enslaved them. Battle greater and greater enemies throughout Gielinor to perfect necromancy combat, rituals, and rune crafting skills. The city of grows and comes to life as you free more spirits. By the way, when I played it, it was very empty. I can't show you the city, unfortunately, but it was very empty, and I was like, everyone as feedback was like, oh yeah, the city is quite empty, and I was like, yeah, we haven't fully developed yet. And I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, explore its streets and canals and unlock its secrets. Finally, face the final challenge to gain entrance into the first Necromancer Citadel and defeat him. New quest, boss and player events post-release in the Necromancy season. And there's already quite a lot of content and quests as well just on release, which is great because you actually will be needing it to upgrade your Necromancy stuff throughout you playing to the skill, which we'll get into. Don't worry, I'll be explaining it as well as I could. I'm not going to go into too much detail because you probably already watched a video of like Protoxes that will explain that in detail. I will more so be focusing on my thoughts and opinions on it. Anyway, features an accessible and deep design that opens combat for all, EOC 2.0, straightforward to learn and rewarding to master for combat experts, returners and new players, which I 100% agree with, by the way. Returners and new players learn at their own pace with tutorials and curated quests and challenges. Experts can leverage their combat skills and boss strategies and decide how to progress. Talent progression interface, it's like a talent tree to help players manage their growth, and this is just the beginning. Together we will grow and evolve the new skill with our players, which I really want to touch upon. Like the last part is they are really open to not just listening to our feedback as the creators that went, but also to you guys. If everyone's currently saying like, oh yeah, it's way too overpowered to do this training method, or oh wait, it's way too like the rituals are not rewarding enough, or they're like really tough, because pretty much there's like 2 parts of the skill, right? You have the ritual part and the combat part. The combat part is very straightforward. You kill things with necromancy and you get necromancy XP, just like any other combat thing. And I know what you're thinking, we're all gonna go to Elite Dungeons 3. Haha, yeah, they nerfed it. They made sure to nerf it, so it's actually, you know, not the best way to train it. And obviously you can't go there with like lower gear anyway, but hey ho, it will probably be, I don't know how good it will be, because we played the pre-nerf version, I believe. I don't know, I wasn't able to train it above level 20 anyway, but Yeah, ED3 will not be the meta, so anything that's after ED3 will probably be the meta, but yeah, it's no longer there. But there's also another part, which is rituals, which is kind of AFK. You can like start a ritual, which you'll be seeing gameplay on in the background, and you kind of just stand there, and there's like these random events that pop up, like a ghost or a butterfly, which, by the way, that butterfly needs to be made visible, because I understand it's a ghost butterfly, but some of us didn't even know it existed. And I found it out because my mouse accidentally hovered over it. I did not see it, so hopefully they will change it. I gave that as feedback as well. But the higher you get, the like more complex the rituals will be. Not from like making them, but more so like there'll be more monsters attacking them. And if you take on the monsters, which you could just do by clicking on them, you will get more experience. And these rituals kind of unlock passive effects, like, for example, where you can do a defensive ability without having equipped a shield, but it will only do a certain amount of percentage damage. Like, that's an example of what one of those rituals can give you as like a passive effect. So kind of see them as the archaeology relics of Necromancy, but kind of different because they don't last for an infinite amount, at least not from what I understand. But pretty much, it is a new combat style, and it's very beginner friendly, and I definitely want to reiterate that. This combat style will teach you one ability at a time, and will get very complex at the end game. And the idea is kind of like your level will be your skill level. And what I mean by that is when you're level 60, you will be able to kind of take on the level 60 monsters, or at least what you'll be able to take on with level 60, and have the actual skill set. So like just how you have a skill set with range or magic, not like the abilities, but like your actual personal, like as an individual player skill set to be able to take it on. Because it kind of is like, oh, here, you start with an auto attack. Okay, you move on to like this ability. So if you have 3 stacks, you might want to press this big ability because it does damage. And that is something they need to do a little bit better on teaching you, because right now it kind of tells you, but it's not that clear. And we were suggesting like, oh, maybe that ability can light up or something, or there's some sort of an audio cue where, you know, like, oh, ability 2 is lit up now, maybe I should press it because you have your stacks, because people might not understand that the stacks are there. But yeah, it's kind of the idea to teach people to get into PvM, which is a really, really good thing. And that's why I kind of want to call it EOC2, because this will change combat forever. It will be a very good style. Like, from what I understand from Evil Lucaria and the RS guy right now, it's kind of like underwhelming in power, but they're going to be buffing it. 1, because of feedback, and 2, because not everything was in there yet. So I don't know where it will be sitting. You probably need to watch their videos on it, because I'm not an expert on it. I just kind of played it as a casual player, and that gave them some really good feedback as well. But yeah, it will pretty much teach you combat one ability at a time. One thing that I am concerned about though is that it pretty much only works on manual, because, well, the auto attacks are really good, don't get me wrong, and that's kind of like the idea. You auto attack, then you stack, and then you do big abilities. That's kind of the idea. You can also summon skeletons and have them fight for you, which obviously is the most Necromancer thing. But yeah, it doesn't really work with Revolution. Of course it does, like it functions with Revolution, but it's better to do with manual. So it will teach you full manual, and I guess when it does one ability at a time and auto attacks are actually good, it might be a good thing. But I am slightly concerned about this, because the majority of players probably play on Revolution, and I wonder how good it will be. But hey, I will show you some clips right now. I was actually doing Nex with Necromancy at level 90 with the level 90 gear, and I did it with Revolution. I didn't press any abilities, I wasn't mashing my keyboard at all. This is just me AFK Nex pretty much, and the only damage I had to do, like actual ability damage, was in the blood phase. So that just kind of shows you that it's actually really good and that it works with Revolution, but probably with full manual it would have been even better. But yeah, it will also just be lore heavy. There's actually a storyline whilst training, which I think is really good, because it gives you a more of a attachment to the skill and like your gear and stuff, because you actually need to do quests and actually need to do things in the city of to progress your gear and other things regarding the like skill and everything that has to do with it. So sure, you can actually do things in the game and just go about it, but if you haven't done the quest, you cannot even wear certain gear. Like, that was kind of an issue, because, you know, I wanted to try out level 90 gear, spawned it in, and then it was like, I can't equip it because you haven't done the quest, because the quests weren't completed. So yeah, it's good. So you can't just buy the best gear, and it kind of forces you to do everything on your own and progress throughout it. And the idea is that, you know, when you are at a certain level, so for example the highest gear, which is tier 90, you will be able to take on end level bosses, because one, you have the gear for it, you have the damage for it, but you also have the skill set for it because it taught you whilst training it. But my general opinions really is that it's EOC2. As I said, it's literally your level, it's the skill level. It can literally change RuneScape forever. This can get people back into the game, or that can even get people that are playing right now that feel behind their friends because, you know, they don't have an expensive mage or range setup to be able to catch up with them. And just by training the skill, you will get it. You don't need a lot of money to be able to buy your next gear upgrade. No, you just need to play the game to be able to upgrade your gear, which people might find concerning, but yeah, it is what it is. You just get it, and yeah, there are certain items probably needed to upgrade these gears, but it's good because this makes combat accessible to everyone, and especially if it's going to be a good combat style, you can probably just be a Necromancer pure. I don't know where everything will sit in the meta and how they're going to be balancing the meta, but we will see. But I hope that it also gets old school players into it, because it will be a very simple introduction to our combat system, and from there you can branch out to other combat styles, or, you know, if Necromancy is good enough, just stick with Necromancy, because that is really good. But one of the things that I definitely gave as my feedback is my experience as a spacebar warrior, because I struggle with reading the dialogue windows, like the ones that you get with the quest. I thought, you know what, it would be good to just spacebar through it, because what happens when you do that? Because, you know, that's good feedback as well. And I'm going to tell you, Necromancy is very confusing if you fully skip the tutorial, and that is something they will definitely have to change, and I gave as feedback, and hopefully they will be changing it. But yeah, they need more non-skippable things, and what I mean by that is, for example, when you complete a ritual, your rewards from the ritual go into a ritual chest, which is really nice, because, you know, you don't have to fill your inventory up with the rewards you get from it. However, the issue with that is, I didn't even know it existed. I thought it was a bank chest, and when I accidentally clicked on it, I figured out that's where my ritual things went, because I was like, where did they go? Because I thought they went automatically in my bank. They kind of need that, like how you had that with archaeology. When you complete a ritual, it says, hey, you just got some rewards from your ritual. Maybe you should check the ritual chest. And then with that just one-time thing, you'll understand how it works. And there are a couple of other things there. Like, for example, no one besides Evil Lucario, of course, it would be Evil Lucario, would find were able to find the shop where you could actually buy some supplies that you needed to even do the ritual for. And it was kind of like, oh yeah, you need to go to the shop right now to buy the supplies. And we were just like, wait, where's the shop? And no one could find it. And we had to ask the developers on, hey, where's the shop? That's not a good thing. That is really not a good thing. We need to ask the developers who made the skill where the shop is. So they're going to be changing those kind of things. But it's mainly those things that we found that like made it confusing, that, you know, if you skip everything, it is a bit confusing to do, and that's of course not what they want to do. So they're going to be more like forced tutorials where you're kind of like, oh, hey, you just unlocked a new ability, maybe go use it. And then, you know, there's like this staged fight where you maybe can only kill that monster when you use that ability. That was a feedback that Josh Strive Hayes gave, which I think is a really good thing, when, you know, you get that new ability and you just have to use it to be able to progress, because then you know, like, oh, wow, that does a lot of damage. Okay, maybe I should use that ability, and it teaches you how to do it. And if that is just a one-time thing, right, like you just have to do one event to teach it and just test it out, or maybe even make it optional, I don't know, then it will really explain and hit home. Because after one time explaining, you probably understand what to do. Like, you get your stacks, then you do bigger damage, and then you're good, right? Like, that's good. And another thing that I gave as feedback as well is that an NPC needs to tell you what to do next, because I spacebarred through it, which might not be an issue after, but I was like, so what do I do now? Do I do rituals to train up, or do I go kill monsters? And, you know, the developer said you could just do anything you want, and I think that is always a bit scary. And I think it would be good if you can go to the NPC that is there and be like, hey, what was I supposed to do again? And then he was like, oh, maybe you should go do a ritual, or oh, maybe you should try and take out some monsters to get some experience. And I think that would be a good thing. But yeah, another thing is that I gave feedback on was accessibility, because if you don't know, I have a visual impairment. I said mainly that there needs to be better contrast on certain things, because it was like purple on teal and it was very difficult to read. Same with the butterflies, as I mentioned earlier, they are literally invisible, and just in general, just better beatability for everything would just be really, really nice. And I think overall, this skill is gonna be incredible. Like, I think this could really, especially if they get some of the feedback that we gave them as a group, like if they take that into account, which I am certain they will, because they seem very excited about. I think that this skill can literally change RuneScape forever. And when I'm not even exaggerating this or trying to hype it up or something, but one of the hardest things in RuneScape is to get into the combat system. And this will literally teach you step by step on how to get in the combat system, and will actually make you understand it and forces you to understand it to be able to even progress and actually, you know, go further ahead within the game, which I think would be a good thing, because probably some of the most fun in RuneScape is the actual combat system and actually, you know, taking monsters out. And I just think that if they do it right, this can get returning players back into the game, because they don't feel behind, because they could just train Necromancy and get up to speed by just training the skill, instead of training the skill up in ED3 and then having to make money elsewhere by inefficient methods because they don't have the gear to be able to catch up to their friends. No, you just train to level 90 or whatever it will be, Necromancy, and just get the gear along the way and just level up your gear, but also your skill level whilst you train it. And I think that could be great for returning players. It could be great for old school players that might want to try out RuneScape 3. And this could just grow the game forever. And I just hope that they nail it, and I'm pretty certain they will, because the team is very passionate, and I think they get it. They get what's going on, and they just want to make this. And overall, I'm gonna make another video on my general experience, but what an experience, bro. Like, just talking and speaking to the team and just being open about it and asking them anything and giving them feedback, and them actually listening to the feedback as well, was just incredible. I think that is definitely kudos to Jagex and the team that was there, and the passion that they put into the project, because they just want this to be good. They want to release a product that is incredible and that they're proud of and that everyone will be excited for. And I generally think, without exaggerating, this will literally change RuneScape forever. Anyway, I really hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, consider giving it a like. If you made it all the way till the end, if you want to ask a question, definitely do so. But make sure to put in the word overview in your comments, so I know that you listen to everything and that you're an absolute legend. I appreciate you. As I said, subscribe if you're new. There's going to be a lot of Necromancy content. And without further ado, I'll let you guys go. My name's Chivalric, and I see you in my next video. Kapow!